Hey guys, this is Nitro here, and today I'm going to be giving you DPS tips for every boss in Castle Nathria. This is from a hunter's point of view, but applies to pretty much all classes, all DPS classes. And so let's just get right into it. The first boss we're going to be looking at is Zymox. For Zymox, if you're doing seeds, I would not worry about doing DPS, at least the max DPS possible. Just focus on the seeds, because if you make an error because of that, you can easily wipe the raid. And then you'll be doing no damage, and then you'll be stuck in the boss. So definitely don't worry about it if you're doing seeds. But if you aren't doing seeds, the biggest tip for Zymox is to use your cooldowns wisely. There's a lot of things in this fight that can make you move around, or you got the portals, you have the spirits, and you can get all these at the same time, right? So I think the biggest thing is to make sure you use your cooldowns when these things already go out. So, oh hey, I didn't get casted by the portal or the spirits. Okay, let's pop cooldowns now. And then if you do get casted by those things and you have to move, just make sure you're looking at your timers and then use the cooldowns afterwards, or just save them for a better period throughout the fight. Obviously, you want to always overlap your cooldowns with bloodlusts. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest tip for Zymox. If you do that wisely, you'll see some success. Alright, and so the next boss we're going to be looking at now is Sledgefist. Sledgefist is, at least for Hunter, you want to be saving your cooldowns. The first pillar, right? The pillars are where you do the most damage. You want to save double tap, your second double tap for the pillar. You also want to go into that pillar with at least 2 charges of aim shot, right? So you want to have both charges up so you're getting the maximum damage on that. And then for the rest of the fight, it's pretty much just not dying to chains, right? Following all those mechanics. If you are targeted by the chain slam, make sure you're doing that properly. It's kind of annoying, but it interrupts your damage, but it's, part of the fight. So other than that, save your potion for whatever pillar you're going to be bloodlusting on. Try to save double tap for every pillar. The timings are pretty much there, right? So you should have on every pillar. And then just go into each pillar with steady focus up, with multiple aim shots up if you can. And that'll help you, do the most damage. The thing with Sledgefist, though, is you have to get lucky with lock and load procs before 70%. So it's kind of RNG, but it varies pull to pull. Alright, next fight is Huntsman. Huntsman's all about the AoE on the ads whenever you grip them in. It's really just like save your second pair of cooldowns for when the ads are, you're going to start DPSing the ads. That's how you do the most damage. So save your explosive shot, your double tap, your volley, your wild spirits, and your true shot aura for that second transition of ads. And then you'll just do a lot of damage there. You want to pop your explosive shot and your double tap a little bit before you start the ads, just because that's like 2 GCDs before you can actually do damage. So you want to pop those a little bit ahead of time. That way you get the maximum amount of aim shots, rapid fire, and chimera shots, all that stuff. I really recommend taking chimera shot in that fight too. It does a lot of damage, and you get the cleaves pretty frequently. So definitely take chimera shot for this fight. Alright, next fight we're going to be looking at is Hunger Destroyer. Hunger Destroyer is a pretty basic fight, right? Just going pure single target spec. I recommend that you always just try to maximize your rotation. Obviously, avoid mechanics, and especially again like Zymox, use your cooldowns wisely. Don't use cooldowns before the big AOE, right? Use your cooldowns after that. I recommend try to use your cooldowns outside of expunge as well, so you're not using cooldowns and you have to move. That's about it for this fight. Definitely, it's not bad as a hunter. We have a lot of movement, but other classes try to make sure you're moving properly for expunge or the big AOE, get what it's called. And then you'll see some success with that fight. Obviously, use your potion with wild spirits and bloodlusts. You should be able to get, I think, at least 2 2-minute cooldowns for that fight. And just give your rotation a little bit of practice. It's kind of like a target dummy, so if you're having issues with that fight, definitely practice, and I'm sure you'll see some success. Next boss we're going to be looking at is Dark Vein. So Dark Bane, it really depends when you immune. If you get all 3 ads as a hunter, at least, you're going to be doing more damage than pulls with only like 1 ad, right? So definitely save your cooldowns for the ads. You should have cooldowns up for the 3rd ad phase. So you pop it up first, or this, I think the first one too, yeah. So you pop your cooldowns at the start, and then you want to save double tap and volley for the first ads, and then the 3rd ad you should be getting, your cooldown should be up again, and you can save, you know, double tap, volley, wild spirits, and true shot aura up. And if you're a different spec, you know, just save your AoE abilities and your cooldowns for those to cleave on those ads. That's pretty much a common thing for hunters for damage, especially in the AoE fights, right? So when you volley, you want to be using, when you double tap, you want to be using your volley and your aim shot first. Don't use rapid fire. Aim shot, it gives you more aim shots, and aim shots just do more damage. Alright, so next fight is Sun King. Sun King is really, if your guild has good damage, you can just be a scumbag and just pop cooldowns right at the start, like you see here. Obviously, when we were progressing, I didn't do this. I saved cooldowns for the soaks. But if you just want to parse, if your guild's fine with this fight, you have the damage. Literally, just pop cooldowns for AoEing on the start of the fight, and then at the 3rd phase when all the ads are out. That's about it. Again, it's the same combo I was talking about before. Pretty much same spec as well. Alright, next fight is a Council. Alright, Council, I really recommend, if you have the gear in a Legendary, to just play Beast Mastery. This fight is pretty trash as marksmanship, just because you have to move around so much. It doesn't feel good, and Beast Mastery just outperforms this fight. Just because you can freely cast all your rotation while moving. But in this fight, it's not really a DPS fight, so I wouldn't worry about too much, but just make sure you're using your cooldowns whenever your raid leader wants you to. Like, I save cooldowns for phase 3, start of the fight, because that's when we want to burn the boss the most. But other than that, try to pop your cooldowns, again, wisely, outside of a recital. You don't want to pop cooldowns, then you get recital, right? That's the worst feeling. So, other than that, it's not a DPS fight. You can multi-shot and volley if you want to, but you're just wasting the DPS. Look at the logs are all just people just cleaving the whole fight, so it's kind of irrelevant for a DPS fight, but definitely to maximize your damage, just use your cooldowns wisely. And I also recommend using a double tap for the whatever the things that come out, you know, they have to cast a shield. You want to use that. And then if you have recital up front when you're doing the dance, definitely attack the bosses up there. Just use like your steady shot to get steady focus. You can also get a lock and load proc off that you can carry into the rest of the fight after that transition if it lasts long enough. Alright, next fight is SLG. SLG is a fun fight, but it is a little tough. So the cooldowns, right off the rip, you're not going to want to open up with double tap. You want to use double tap right after the first Goliath comes out, and then you want to save your explosive shot for a little bit after that. You only want to be using explosive shot here to cleave the ads. You don't want to use it single target really. So then if you double tap and then explosive shot with all the ads there, with the boss there, you can pop a potion there. That's usually when I do it, but I haven't been lately because we just push the boss too fast if I do that. Just get all your AoE over there, and you can fit in a lot of cleave, a lot of damage. Hunters are one of the best specs for this fight as marksmanship. We just do a lot of cleave AoE damage. So one of the last few fights we're good at. But as you can see here, you know, I only really use my explosive shot to cleave. And then after that second Goliath comes out, you know, wait for the ads, and then once again you can do that combo I've been talking about throughout this whole video. Double tap, volley, aim shot, rapid fire, and then, you know, explosive shot. You can also, obviously, if something's low, you can be cheeky and just like kill shot it for free damage, right? So this fight is a little challenging though. It's definitely one of the harder fights in the raid, but just kind of keep up that combo. That combo is so good for a lot of the AoE fights. It's just will carry you on the DPS charts. Same thing goes out for the ads on the transition. Make sure to do that right. Again, same combo. and you'll be good. Alright, next fight we're going to be looking at is, let's see here, Cyard and Nathria. I only have a heroic kill, but this fight on the pole, I cast only aim shot and arcane shot. Because there's the trick you can do. You can get double tap in with multiple of the cleansing pains, so you get all the most AoE damage you can. So immediately I just aim shot, arcane shot, whatever, and then after that I cast double tap. And then I would just pop all my cooldowns there, get all that cleave, the double tap and the aim shot. And you want to pop a little early too, like a few seconds before you cast it. And I'll tell you why. I'll show you. So obviously do a lot of damage here with the aim shot. And then not the next cleansing pain, but the one after that. Double tap and volley are coming right off cooldown. Perfect timing for the next cleansing pain right here. And then again, you have the AoE. You don't have wild spirits there, but you just do a ton of damage. And then that's pretty much it for phase 1. For phase 2, you have a variety of different adds. Oh, big thing, careful aim, just hit the sword pretty much. But right when you get into phase 2, you have all your cooldowns up. You want to use it on the occultists, the sword, and the boss. And you just use all your cleave. Again, same combo. And then in phase 2, just really hit the sword unless you're assigned to an add. Just really hit the sword. You have careful aim bonus, so your aim shot does, I think, 30% more damage. And the sword shares health with the boss. So you'll be doing a lot of damage to that. And then once again, you can see here the adds are coming out. So use double tap, volley, aim shot, rapid fire. That's the combo. You do a lot of cleave damage at this fight. You should be able to do a lot of damage in phase 2 and phase 1. And then phase 3 is pretty much just use your cooldowns while the boss just lands in the spot, right? The boss is getting moved around so much in that fight, so just make sure you're using cooldowns before the tank moves them. Alright, that was some pretty fast tips. You know, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you like this video. 9.1 guide coming out soon. And then thumbs up, like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And let me know what you guys think. Alright, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.